Good evening, this is BelGeode, and we are back with some more Explain 11. Howdy folks, and we are back here in Explain 11.20, and tonight we're going on an alpine adventure. So I am here at the Matterhorn Park Scenery by Mr. Frank Dionys. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And we're going to be flying from Zermatt over to Cervinia in the northernmost part of Italy. This is going to be our chariot for today. If it looks familiar, it kinda is. This is the Grumman AA-5B Tiger. It's the big brother to the AA-5 Traveler that you've seen before on my channel. And folks, I gotta say, I am in love with this series of aircraft. Ever since I found out that they were used in real life as trainers, I've been doing anything possible to get my hands on them. So we're going to go ahead and get everything started up here, and I'm hoping that this thing will be able to take me over the Alps from Switzerland into Italy. So you got an idea of our map there. We are right there at the very top of the map, and we're going to be flying south past the Matterhorn, and we'll be landing down here in the northern parts of Italy. It's going to be awesome, provided, of course, I can actually make it over the Alps. But yeah, you can see our course there, and we're going to be flying off in that direction. That's not actually the Matterhorn yet, but we will get to it, and I will point it out. You really can't miss it, though. Okay, but nothing can happen until we get started. So, master on, and we get our alternator on. I should also turn our magnetos on, provided this thing will work. There we go. Okay, let's get some fuel action. So mixture to full, crack the throttle, fuel pump on. And we'll also turn our lights on, our nav lights and our flashing beacon lights. And then the primer. Let's prime it about 5 times here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That should do the trick. Okay, fuel pump can come off. There we go. We'll leave the throttle cracked, and we're just about ready for an engine start, so everything is clear. And of course, I'm going to do the traditional shout, clear prop. All right, let's fire her up. Now, in case you were wondering, that is not smoke out there. That is actually water. It rained shortly before I decided to record the video, so X-Plane still registers the ground as wet, or at least damp. Alright, but we're getting all our systems on here, so avionics are on. I think I still have that program to Jamaica, but we'll leave it as it is. Let's get our transponder on. Might as well set it to alt right now. Squawking 1200. I might want to remove that tag, otherwise I won't be able to use the controls. Everything else looks good, so let's button her up. And that's the other thing that I love about these little Grumman planes here, is the fact that they've got that sliding cockpit. It feels like a little fighter jet, except with a prop in front. And of course, tiger skin. Okay, what else do we need to do? We're going to go down that way and turn around at the end. I should point out, as we take off in that direction, that I had to make slight modifications to Mr. Dionys' scenery. He did not have any parking spots at either of the airports that we're going to be visiting today, so I had to fix that and put a parking spot for GA. Alright, flaps down to 1/3. We can verify at the front. Trim is roughly about centered, but I can pull that back a little bit, so that way we've got a little bit of upward deflection. That should be good. Engine still warming up. It's in the green, so we're pretty much good to taxi right now. But let's make sure that everything else is in order. One of the important things with this aircraft, you got to make sure your compass and your HSI line up. So what do we have there? About 290 or 280 actually. So we're gonna get our HSI turned so that it also says 280. I think it is right there. Okay. And that'll come in handy when we use the autopilot. I took the liberty of setting our altimeter. It's at 3006, so it's currently correct, which means we are almost at 5,000 feet above sea level. 4,700 to be precise. Woo! I don't know if this aircraft was designed for high elevation operation, but I'm thinking we should probably lean the mixture a little bit here. And you can see we've got our little EGT gauge right above, so we'll keep an eye on that. If that drops a little bit too much, then we'll know to adjust it accordingly. Okay, this is a brand new plane, so we are going to make sure that the controls all work. So I'm doing my controls wipeout here, ailerons, elevators. Can't really see the rudder from in here, but I can at least check the pedals and make sure we've got free movement, which we do. We're currently set to the right fuel tank, so we can switch that over to the left if we start tilting over to one side, basically. And looks like our engine is pretty much warmed up right now. So I'm going to release the brakes, and we're going to taxi over to, I'm guessing that is the north side of the runway here. So yeah, as I stated, I created parking spots for this because of the fact that it's really also designed for helicopters primarily, which honestly I thought it would be a little too easy to do this challenge of getting over the Alps in a helicopter. I really wanted to do it in this aircraft that wasn't really designed for high altitude work or high elevation work. So we'll see if we can pull it off. Wish me luck, I'm gonna need it. Not gonna lie, folks, this is gonna be interesting taking off on wet grass, but we're gonna see if we can pull it off. Outside air temperature 052. Let's get our fuel pump on. We're probably gonna need a pitot heat because we are in the Alps after all. Strobe light on, landing light on, and let me see how we're doing on this side of the engine instruments. Okay, everything's in the green. We've got suction. This is great. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the carb heat just as a precaution. And I will be putting our fuel mixture to full rich because I'm going to need every ounce of horsepower that this thing's got. So do that real quick. Just a cursory scan of all the gauges. Everything looks good. So I would say it's time for brakes down, throttles up. And we'll wait till everything stabilizes. I think X-Plane just had a stutter there, so my apologies for that. Alright, here we go, off into the alpine sky. Full throttle, let's come off the brakes and we will go, go, go. Oh boy. Alright, I want you to keep an eye on my airspeed indicator, which is on the left side just under the registration number here. We need to at least get this thing past stall speed before I can pull up. It's going to be close, folks. It's going to be close. Like I said, this thing was not designed for high altitude flight. So, let's do it. Woohoo! You know, folks, every time I blast out of risky takeoffs like that, I feel like Han Solo blasting out of Mos Eisley. You can tell I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Ironically, I have not seen the latest Star Wars movie, the Han Solo one. It just doesn't feel right without Harrison Ford, and there's no way to make him younger for the movie. Anyway, I'm sure I'll see it at some point in time. Alright, so right now I am going to pull the flaps up, and we'll just verify at the top here. Yep, flaps are up. And we're going to trim her up a little bit here. You can see the little trim tabs on the end there. We want to gain as much altitude as we can. I'm thinking we probably are going to want to be anywhere from about 9,000 to 10,000 feet in order to make it over the Alps. I'm hoping there will be a saddle that we can just kind of sneak through, because I would rather not bring this thing all the way up to 14,000 feet to get over the Matterhorn. That would be bad. But I did turn off our carb heat because our engine's running full bore right now, so it should be good. And you can see our airspeed is close to 80 knots. It's getting there. It's getting there. So we'll keep our angle of attack a little bit shallow here. But right now we're set at 1200, so I'm going to bring it down to about 1,000 feet per minute, maybe even 700 feet per minute. I've been through this area before in Aerofly FS2. It was a while ago, but it was probably one of the last Aerofly FS2 videos that I've done so far, which reminds me, I know I do need to do more Aerofly FS2 videos. So I kind of know my way, but we'll see how good my memory is. Directly ahead of us is the city of Zermatt. So this is one of the two major cities that you get with this package. And these are some of the outlying areas along the sides of the Alps here. Crazy Swiss with their houses. Look at the angle there. Their basement's got to be like completely submerged. That's just nuts. And you got to figure too, we're at about what, 6,300 according to the altimeter here. That's craziness. Now, I do need to make you aware that the two major airports, and I use that term loosely, that you get with this package do not exist in real life. So if you're looking to, do like a real life approximation, the city of Zermatt is accurate, the city of Cervinia is accurate, but the two airports that they give you, the two grass strips, like the one we just took off from, those do not exist in real life. They're actually kind of like golf courses and campgrounds. But I'm really glad that they put them in here, because they will come in handy for this aircraft, especially since I decided not to use a helicopter. But directly ahead, you will see that giant imposing monolith. That is the world-famous Matterhorn. And all the surrounding areas there. Now, there's going to be some glaciers that go around the Matterhorn, so we can actually kind of see. I'm not even sure if that is a glacier. I think the glaciers are actually a little bit closer. That's just an area where nobody dares live, because if there's an avalanche, you're pretty much screwed. Wow. But yeah, look at all these people living up here. Holy crap, that's got to be like 7,000 to 8,000 feet up. That is nuts. That's as bad as living in Denver. Alright, well, they can keep that high altitude living. I'm not down for that. Give me a beach. Okay, so now you can see a better look at the Matterhorn, and believe me, we're going to get up close and personal with this sucker. So here's the plan. You can see the glaciers that I was talking about earlier directly ahead behind my compass there. We're going to go straight down there while still gaining altitude, because we're really only at 7,400 and we need to be at about 10,000. And we'll do a turnaround, because I think there's enough space there for me to just do a 180. We'll come back past the Matterhorn in this direction here. And, oh look, there's Zermatt. Oh, that's pretty cool. Anyway, as I was saying, when we come back the other way, we'll make a right turn and try and find a saddle that'll get us over the Alps. So we're headed towards the glacier area. We can see like some, I'm guessing those are resorts or something like that. Alright, but let me see our altitude here. We're climbing steadily. This is good. We're almost at 8,000 feet. Okay, so what I want to do, I found some quick facts online that I just kind of wanted to read to you here. First and most obvious, the Matterhorn is approximately 14,692 feet above sea level. And I'm just checking my map here. Just give me 1 second. Okay. I'm thinking I need to swing out to the right a little bit. There should be enough space for me to do a full 180, but I want to go over that glacier there and then come back around this way where I know we'll have a headwind, and that should help us climb a little bit easier. Anyway, I digress. I wanted to tell you a little bit of quick facts here. So first of all, it is the 10th highest mountain in Switzerland and one of the 48 Swiss peaks above 4,000 meters in height. And the four faces of the Matterhorn face four cardinal directions, so north, east, south, and west. They're like exactly laid up. It's pretty cool. Now, over 500 people have died climbing the mountain since 1865, many on the descent, and the deaths were due to falls, inexperience, bad judgment, or bad weather, or falling rocks. Now they're averaging about 12 annually. That's a lot of people to have had their lives claimed by this imposing peak here. Wow, I don't know why people do it, to be honest with you. I mean, I would love to fly around the Matterhorn in real life, but I don't think I would ever actually want to climb it, which is a lot for me to say, since as a kid I used to do a lot of rock climbing and I didn't even think about safety, so there were no pythons or ropes or anything like that. But that's just me. I'm crazy like that. Another quick fact about the Matterhorn: the oldest person to have ever climbed the Matterhorn is a gentleman by the name of Ulrich Inderbienen. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correct. If I'm not, I'm sure someone will correct me. Maybe it's Inderbienen. He was 89 years old at the time of his last ascent up the Matterhorn. And traditionally, it generally takes anywhere from about 8 to 10 hours nowadays to climb the Matterhorn's north face, which is the face that we are looking at right now. Supposedly, that's the easiest of the four faces to actually climb up. And it's about 1,100 meters to the top right there. One of the buildings that we saw back there was a hotel. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name, but suffice to say, it's usually a good gathering spot for people who are planning on climbing the Matterhorn. And the Matterhorn itself, the name, is a German name, Matte meaning meadow and Horn meaning peak. However, it's got other names too. Since it faces Italy, it's pretty much the border to Switzerland and Italy. In Italy, they call the Matterhorn Monte Cervino. And it even has a French name. It's Mont Cervin, or Cervin. I don't know, my French is kind of rusty. I'm only working on high school French here, so bear with me. But it's got those three names, of course, in addition, including the name Matterhorn. But that's what it's more popularly known as. So there we got some glaciers here. They pretty much start from the peak here and run down that valley towards Zermatt. I don't know if they've ever had any issues with like glaciers melting or anything like that. Usually glaciers are pretty good when it comes to staying put, but I imagine if we get a little bit more global warming, then it might change form from solid to liquid, or at least portions of it might, and we might have a little bit of an issue back at Zermatt. Okay, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous here, just a tad, because we're going to need to make a turnaround here, so I'm trying to figure out what is going to be the best way to do it. I see that little tiny peak in the center there, so maybe we'll go just past that and make our turn. We're just over 10,000 feet right now. We're not at the point where I'm going to need oxygen. That would be about 14,000, which ironically is about the peak of the Matterhorn. We're not going to get that high. I think 10,000 is going to be sufficient. So we'll swing her around to the left here. Wow, that does look rather imposing. I might come back up here with a helicopter, perhaps something with a bit more power, like maybe the Osprey or maybe the Sikorsky S3 or SH3, excuse me. I haven't used that one in a while. Alright, there we go. So we should be flying into the wind now. Yes. All of a sudden, I've got more power in this aircraft. This is awesome. This is awesome. You can see our temperature. The little digital display says that we are at about 30 degrees. So yeah, it got cold quick, didn't it? Remember we started at about 51, 52, and now it's down to like 29? Yeah, that can be expected when you're in the Alps, and the air is nice and crisp. Just awesome. awesome. I love it. Alright, so we're going to come back down this way past the Matterhorn, and my main task right now for this challenge is to find a saddle that's sufficiently low enough that we can afford to fly over. And then we will enter the country of Italy, and we'll have to make our way down to the location that we're going to be landing at, which I believe, again, is Cervinia. Okay. So far, we're doing pretty good according to the map here. You can see all the various heliports that they have there. And like I said, when Frank came up with this scenery, he really designed it for helicopter pilots in mind. Normally, I would be using a helicopter, but like I said in the beginning of this video, I really wanted the challenge of trying to take a GA aircraft over the Alps. Helicopter would be a little too easy, you know, just gain altitude, go over the mountain, come back down, basically. This is where the real challenge lies. So hopefully we'll be able to pull it off. I have my reservations, but I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think that I could not make it. And I've gotten the mixture sufficiently lean. It's just past peak. Engine is still in the green, so everything looks good. We've got suction. We've got enough voltage and amps. Alright, I think we can do this, folks. I really do think we can do this. Now for my next episode, just to kind of push on ahead there, I'm actually going to be in Italy. There's another area in Italy that I really want to show you guys. In particular, the approach to the airport that we're going to be landing in. But you will see that episode soon enough, and I will explain everything there. Oh look, there's another glacier directly ahead. I think that's the one that probably leads to the area where the Eiger Pass is and the Eiger Mountains. We're going to make a right there. You can see Zermatt again off in the distance. If we were to continue over to the Eiger, we would reach areas such as Piz Gloria, the famous hotel that was featured in the James Bond movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service. But that is not on the menu for today. I think I may have found my saddle right here. And we're sufficiently high enough that we should be able to make it. And I'm actually going to start descending when I come through this saddle here. So right now we're at minus 500 feet per minute, and we're at about 1100. I don't want to get much higher than that because I would rather not black out. I don't know if hypoxia has been modeled in this aircraft, but just between you and I'm not going to take that chance, you know what I mean? Alright, so here is our mountain pass, and we're going to say goodbye to the beautiful country of Switzerland, home of Toblerone, which incidentally, another fun fact, the icon that is used for Toblerone and the shape of the Toblerone is directly inspired by the Matterhorn. Bet you didn't know that. And even better than that, the creator of Toblerone, a gentleman by the name of Theodore. I'm trying to remember his last name. I think it might be Tobler, if I'm not too mistaken, hence the name of the candy. He actually went by the logo of the bear, and you can find the bear head in the picture of the Matterhorn that's on the Toblerone chocolate bar. We made it, folks. Let's chalk it up to the little tiger that could. Yay! And my distracting myself by giving you quick facts so I wouldn't have to worry about whether or not we were going to smack into the mountain. Alright, we are on idle, so I'm going to get the carb heat back on. I'm also going to turn our fuel pump on because I might need that. Temperature is still below zero, so 30 degrees Fahrenheit. We're good with that. We're going to get down shortly. Alright, and I don't know if you can see over the nose there, that is the southern end of Cervinia. So that's the area that we're going to be landing on. Now, just to give you an idea, do you see that directly ahead? That used to be a golf course, or at least I believe it is a golf course in real life. That's our airport. That's where we've got to come in on. And it is a slightly sloping runway, so my plan is going to be to pass by these mountains here. There should be like another open area. And we'll do a 180 and then come into the north. I like that little industrial district off to the left there too. That's kind of cool. Yeah, look at these rugged peaks and everything. And I want to say this is not quite orthophoto. I believe what Mr. Dionese did with this is came up with like a sort of texture hybrid. Okay, folks, so to go over our approach briefing again, we are going to go a little bit further down past these meadows here, if you can call them meadows since they're on the side of a mountain. And that area directly ahead should be just wide enough for us to make a sweeping descending turn to the right. Now, there's going to be like a little valley that we need to basically thread the needle to get into Cervinia. So if I hit that at just the right altitude, it should give us enough momentum to come in and land nice and softly at the airport in Cervinia. That's the plan anyway. We'll see if I can actually execute this. You know, the one thing that always amazes me too is how vegetation works. You know, it only goes up so high and then vegetation just won't grow past a certain point. I imagine it probably has something to do with like the lack of oxygen or probably the lack of dirt, since there's pretty much just rocks on the peaks and everything. But that always struck me as really interesting, how that all works. You can see the trees have like a distinct tree line. Incidentally, all the trees that you're seeing in here, these are not default trees. These actually come with the scenery pack. So you get all of this included in the scenery pack. Alright, I believe this is where we're going to want to make our sharp right turn. So we'll go to the outside view for this. Just about perfect. That is the beautiful thing about using VR, folks. You can judge your distance, you can judge your height and everything. This is exactly where I wanted to be. So there's the little cut that we were looking for. We still have a little ways to go to get to Cervinia, and it's mostly uphill. So yeah, we still have that to worry about. But we've got plenty of space around, so we should be able to pull this off with relative ease. Please bear in mind, I've only done this one time before. Generally, whenever I record these videos, I'll do like one test video just to see if I can actually pull it off. And while I was able to pull it off, it wasn't the best landing in the world, let's just say it that way. So I'm hoping I can redeem myself from that landing that you will never see. Alright, let's go ahead and get everything set up here. We're going to bring our flaps down. I want 2/3 flaps this time, because we're going to need to get really slow on our way in. I will remind you that the Grumman AA-5 series of aircraft is notorious for floating on its way in. So we really have to bring this thing just over stall. You'll notice that I've got it right about between 60 and 65 knots. So we're going to flare up just a little bit. That will lose us some speed. We want to keep it roughly around 60 knots as we work our way around here. Alright, I'm thinking we should be good. I have no eyes on the airstrip just yet, but I know it's coming, and it's going to come really quickly here. So we'll just play with the power here. We'll put it up and down as needed. I'm thinking we're basically just going to follow this road, and you'll see that the hillside there kind of swings out to the right, so we're going to follow that there. I'm going to give us full mixture because we will need all the power we can get to come in at this airport. As a matter of fact, I do believe I see the runway up ahead. Okay, folks, this is it. We are going for broke. Welcome to Cervinia. Let's see if we can get over these trees, put this thing down on that used to be golf course. Here's where the fun starts. It ain't over until we've got 3 wheels on the ground, folks. Alright, I'm going to cut our power back and flare just a touch. We'll keep her just over stall. let's do this. We're gonna go outside. Alright, we made it. Of course, I completely forgot about the fact that X-Plane still registers this grass as being wet, so brakes. We need all the brakes. Brakes, brakes, brakes. Come on, more brakes. Every last drop of brakes that you got. Woo! Okay, now I can relax. Alright, so like I said before, welcome to Cervinia, and we are here, so let's get our strobe light off, and our fuel pump, we'll turn that off as well. Turn off our landing light. And we're going to taxi off to the right. Now, just like the initial airport that we took off from, Zermatt-Tasch, I went through and added parking spots for this airport and also cleaned up the runway a little bit because, Mr. Dionys, thank you so much for having all the helipads, but unfortunately you did not put any facilities at all for GA aircraft. So if other people want to do crazy stuff like I just did, we kind of need a runway and parking spots. We don't just need the lights here and the green grass. So I fixed that. I fixed that. You're welcome. Alright, but with that having been done, here we are in beautiful northern Italy. So just to remind you, the next episode will also take place in Italy. And then after that, we'll figure out where else in the world that we're going to go. Hey, look at that Cessna 172 there. That's pretty cool. And there's one of the famous helipads that we've got for this scenery. So if you are a helo flyer, helicopter pilot, a rotorhead, you will absolutely love this scenery pack. And I highly recommend that you purchase it. It is payware. Just to remind you, this is the 3D Matterhorn Park by Frank Dionys. And this is where we're going to end it tonight. So as always, thank you for watching, folks. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in X-Plane 11.20, and my chariot for the day has been the gorgeous Grumman AA-5B Tiger. Rawr. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I will be back sometime in the very near future with this Tiger for another outing somewhere in the Italian mountains. So check it out soon. Alrighty, folks. Ciao.